Pemirsa CNBC Indonesia, Anda menyaksikan segmen khusus Take a Look CNBC Indonesia bersama saya Safrina Nasution. Di kesempatan kali ini kita masih akan mengeksplorasi bagaimana kecerdasan buatan atau artificial intelligence dapat memiliki dampak untuk manusia. Dan di kesempatan ini secara eksklusif telah bergabung bersama kami Jeetu Patel, President and Chief Product Officer of CISCO. A pleasure to have you, Jeetu, here.
Thank you for having me here, Safrina. It's great to be here.
This is your first time visiting Indonesia?
First time.
Yeah, so thank you.
I have a lot of regret that I didn't come here sooner.
So you should come back again.
I'm definitely going to come back if you have me.
Of course, for sure. Thank you for taking time to be here with us in CNBC Indonesia. So now let's talk about your role in CISCO as a President and also Chief Product Officer of CISCO. Since taking your role as the Chief Product Officer, what are the key trends that you are seeing, and what does that mean for customers when they are thinking about their technology infrastructure?
You know, so it's been about 11 months since I took the role as for running product at CISCO, and one of the things that we are seeing all around the world, not just at CISCO, is we are probably witnessing one of the most seismic kind of shifts in the industry as far as a mega trend in technology, which is AI, artificial intelligence. And I think right now what you're starting to see is that every industry, every workflow, every individual, every government, every country will have impacts with this with the shift that's going on. Mm-hmm. And CISCO is no different, and so we've actually taken a very aggressive stance forward. And you know, we're an AI-first company. We think about AI in every single aspect of our business, even the way that a legal person approves a contract, to the way that the back office person goes out and gets the jobs done, to how engineers write code within our company, to the way that our products are built, to the infrastructure that we provide to power AI. And then the safety and security that's needed. We actually think about all of that with an AI-first mental model. And I think it's an exciting time to be in tech.
All right. Well, you said previously that Agentic AI is one of the most important leap in our lifetime.
Yeah.
Can you explain more about that statement? What does that mean for organization and how they build their infrastructure in this fast evolving digital world?
So the way to think about this is we are in the second phase of AI right now. So 2.5 years ago,
second phase
of AI currently. So the first phase was 2.5 years ago, and you start thinking about like when ChatGPT came out.
So it was in 2022, 2023?
Yeah, November of 22.
Okay.
November 30th of 22. That was the first phase where there was chatbots that intelligently answered questions for humans, and we felt like it was magic, right? You'd ask a question, automatically you'd get an answer, and we are now in the second phase where instead of chatbots just answering questions we ask, we are now in a phase where agents conduct tasks and jobs and automate workflows almost fully autonomously on behalf of humans.
So that is the agentic AI.
That's agentic AI.
Agents. So it comes from the term agent.
That's exactly right. And that phase is going to change, quite substantially the way that we work, live, and operate. And so this will have profound implications on every company, on every government, every business. But it'll also have profound implications on the workforce. Because today we have 100% of our workforce is humans. Tomorrow you will have agents and robots and humanoids that'll be augmented to the workforce. So this population that we have in the world of 8 billion humans will feel like we have the throughput capacity of 80 billion humans, because you've been augmented with these agents. And what that'll translate to is some constraints that AI is going to have, because what you don't want to have happen is AI only be available to the wealthy. You want to make sure that AI is available and democratized for everyone. There's a level of inclusiveness. And our mission at CISCO, our purpose, is to make sure that we are building an inclusive future for all. That's something that we live by pretty closely. So how does that actually translate?
Yeah.
You have to think about the constraints that are going to limit AI from being in every single hand. And so what are the constraints right now? Because if you ask any CEO in the world, are you excited about AI? 97% of them, in a study we recently did, said that they're very excited about the possibilities of AI, but only 1.7% felt prepared. Right?
Felt prepared.
They felt like they were prepared for AI. They weren't. Majority of the people, 98%, 98.3% did not feel prepared to be able to tackle the problem. Why is that? And so if you ask that question, what you find out is there's three reasons. First one is AI is fundamentally infrastructure constrained. We don't have enough infrastructure to power AI today for AI to reach its full potential. And when you talk about infrastructure, there are three components of infrastructure: power, compute, and network bandwidth. So that was the first area, is can we make sure that AI is not infrastructure constrained? The second area is a trust deficit, where most people feel like, I don't really trust AI.
A trust deficit.
Yeah, and so if you don't trust AI, then you're not going to use it.
Yeah.
And so this notion of safety and security with AI is extremely important. And then the third area is just a skills gap.
Yeah.
You know, every individual is not quite dexterous with AI just yet, and so you have to make sure that you raise the bar and get everyone to get trained in AI.
Okay, well, that was wonderful. But if you mentioned that, how do you ensure that AI couldn't only be accessible by the wealthy, and it should be inclusive? So especially in Indonesia, with 280 million populations that we have here, there's a big inequality gap for the one who having a digital literacy, and
that's right.
They did not.
Yeah.
So what do you think about this in general? How to actually implement AI in everyday life inclusively, and also having the most positive impact for the society in countries like Indonesia?
Yeah, so I think there's a couple of things that need to happen. First is you have to make sure that there's a level of training that's provided for people all throughout. So we are participating with a program that we just recently initiated with IOH as well as NVIDIA and ourselves, where each one of us are contributing resources to make sure that we can train the citizens of Indonesia. You know, we have a program called Net Academy. You know, NVIDIA has a program called Deep Learning Institute, and we're kind of putting our resources together so that we can do that. The second thing we have to do is more of a psychological barrier. Yeah, and what I mean by that is, I think people are always fearful of AI, and they're fearful of AI because they feel like AI is going to take their job away. And what I tell people is, worry less about AI taking your job, worry more about someone that uses AI better than you taking your job.
Oh,
right?
That's a nice statement.
And so if you can allow people to get a degree of dexterity with AI and a level of AI literacy, then what that allows them to do is get more relevant for the times.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's only going to be two kinds of companies in the world, and that also translates to people, is the companies that are going to be AI dexterous, or they're going to be irrelevant. And I think the same translates to people. We want to have more and more companies and more people be in that first category. And so we have to make sure that we actually come together as a community. And I think it's going to be very important to have public-private partnerships in place as well, so that we can work hand in hand between the private sector and the government to ensure that these capabilities are being provided. And I would applaud the Indonesian government for what you folks are doing right now, because it's extremely impressive to see the speed of execution with AI that the internal local government is actually doing. And given the fact that you've got a 280 million person population, there's going to be a tremendous upside here for Indonesia, because you can level the playing field, and anyone can actually, with the use of AI, have throughput capacity that can become a huge advantage for you.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that, hopefully. So now what about cybersecurity, sir? With the rise of AI-powered cyber threats, what do businesses today expect from a modern cybersecurity approach?
I think going back to the trust deficit that we talked about, one of the things that we have to think about is what is the current state in cyber? So if you think about the current state in cyber, the attacks are getting more sophisticated. The adversaries are getting smarter in how they infiltrate systems. And you have to assume that the attacker is already in your system, and what you're trying to prevent is lateral movement within your organization. Okay. So given that, there are two things that you have to keep in mind. The first thing is, can we make sure that our defenses against the attackers are also at machine scale? Because the attacks are going to happen, the adversaries are going to have the same tools that we have as for AI. And so, if you have a phishing attack, that phishing attack is going to get much more sophisticated in the future than what it has been up until now. So your defenses have to be at machine scale, not at human scale. And then the second thing, which is even more important,
it has to par, right?
It has to be, and you have to exceed the exceed the adversary's attacks, right? And then the second thing you have to keep in mind is, it's not sufficient to just use AI in cybersecurity defenses. You have to secure AI itself.
Securing the AI itself.
Securing AI itself, which means that the models that actually are used to build AI applications on top of, fundamentally the application architecture has completely changed. What do I mean by that? It used to be that you would have some base level infrastructure, you'd have data, and then you'd have the business logic tier. We have now inserted a new tier in how applications get built, which are models. What is the classical definition, or what is the core characteristic of a model? It is non-deterministic. What does that mean? It means that it's unpredictable in its outcome. If you ask ChatGPT a question, the same question will give you two different answers. Yeah. If you ask it twice.
So it's a model.
Right? So it's non-deterministic, it's unpredictable. But you're trying to build predictable applications with this unpredictable technology. And so what you have to do is you have to make sure that you can put some safety and security guardrails in place. And so, I always tell people an example is hallucination, which is what they say that these models do sometimes. They hallucinate. Yeah. That's great when you're writing poetry. It's really bad for every other walk of life. And so you want to make sure that you prevent the model from behaving differently than what you want it to behave. Yeah. And that requires safety and security being built for the model itself. So securing AI is just as important as using AI within cybersecurity.
Well, wonderful perspective and insight, and we will continue our conversation after a break. Very interesting, Jeetu. Dan dialog bersama dengan Jeetu Patel, Presiden Chief Product Officer CISCO, akan kita lanjutkan usai jeda pemirsa. Tetaplah bersama kami di CNBC Indonesia Tech Alog.